Hello to everyone at the Growth Hacking and Outbound Marketing. And I remember, please do whatever you do. And I say, do it with love. And not just do it with love. I say, just do not care so much about results, because everyone is telling us about results. But today, Vandita is going to tell us how to build a co-working in Pune, in India. Vandita, thank you very much for being here.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Good morning. Tell me a little bit, what's your background and how come you end up making a co-working in Pune, in India?
Sure. So I'm an engineer by qualification. I'm a software, actually an electronics and telecommunication engineer. And I had this stint of, I'm a first generation entrepreneur. So I tried my hand at a couple of things. Fortunately, unfortunately, I never got to do anything related to engineering. I was in sales since the beginning, and trying my hands at a couple of outsourced companies, helping them set up sales processes and yada, yada, yada. Then post my first pregnancy, when I was like on a long break, I wanted to do something else. I wanted to try something new. And I got this opportunity while I was in the States for a small, short tenure. I got an opportunity to work out of these really cool, co-working cafes, which were really nice and bright and colorful. And that's where I thought something of this sort in India would really do wonders. Because one of the things that I really thought was a huge cultural shift between India and US was how easy it was to connect with people, to talk to them, ask for help, which is not really a culture here. So I thought it would be a great thing to get to India.
Thanks very much. And it happens to me the same. First time when a few years ago I went to Austin, I think, and I saw WeWork. I didn't know what was that. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. And it happened to me, it's congratulations for taking the steps. And
thank you.
How do you come out from an idea to make it happen? I mean, what steps do you go through? Do you make a strategy, a funnel, and then you go to see friends and family, get some money, or you just buy a building and then do that? Tell me a little bit, what was the process? And
so I think for me, I'm more of a spontaneous person. For me, there's less of thinking in the beginning. There's quick action steps and then going into the planning process, because I think that kind of helps me to do the planning and thinking in the right direction. But if I start planning a lot in advance, like before I actually take some actions, then you just end up thinking and not really doing much. That's my strategy. It works for me. Might not. I mean, I don't know how it works for other people, but yeah, I just feel that you should probably just kind of step into the waters and then figure out how you want to build your ship.
Basically, get shit done, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, tell me, what was the process since you had the idea and it's like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and if you just like define it, how was it for everyone? How difficult is to build a co-working space? How easy it is, and what struggles did you went through?
So I think I wouldn't really say it's difficult to build a co-working space. For me, what happened was when I came back from the States, I of course did my research a little bit to see how the Indian market is, and there were of course a couple of co-working spaces that were operating out of India, and then I started thinking, what is it that I want to give to my customers, or how do I want to kind of differentiate? And that's when me and my partner, we kind of started thinking how we really want to go about it. And mind you, at that time, both of us were having our own little startups. We were actually working on different ideas, and the idea was to take up a space, because we needed a space for ourselves. And we thought, since we don't need like really big space and we were not getting small spaces, we thought, let's even try co-working and see how that works. And both our startups actually got sidelined, and we just got into like co-working full time. So Yeah, that's
Okay,
how it
okay,
happened.
I like it. And how big is Pune? How many people is in the co-working space? And are you thinking for expansion?
So sure. So we currently have about 600 seats in Pune alone.
Woohoo! That's a big number,
Yes,
huh? That's a big
that's right.
number.
Thank
How big?
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, and then we're of course planning to expand. Our expansion plans are quite rapid this year, and we want to go to different cities also as well right now. But right now, as of now, we're just trying to focus on the 600 seats and building a community site to it, and getting those other elements which would define us before we actually go into the expansion mode.
Good, wonderful. 600 spaces. How is India co-working people developing? Is it like a lot of freelancers who work for the US guys and then a lot of virtual assistants? Just if you could like tell me, because obviously it's a completely different world from what we have in Spain,
Yes.
but I'm very sure it's a few
Yes,
things.
it's very different. The market is very crowded, and I always say that India is, quite a price-sensitive market. So the way you strategize here, people want value, people want everything else, but at the same time, price is really can be like an entry barrier for you. So you have to really strategize well around that. But India has a lot of freelancers. It's growing every day. A lot of startups coming up, a lot of small time businesses, and women entrepreneurs, and kind of a lot of these digital nomads are also kind of on a rise in India, and not just particularly for the US market. I think pretty much everywhere in the world, like people have clients. I like. My friends who are freelancers and digital nomads have clients like all across the world, even in Europe, even in Barcelona, actually.
It's actually fun. It's actually good that you said how often you get international people coming to the draft, to DAFTA.
So we don't really have much Pune in general. People would not really come to really work there, but we have a lot of people from nearby cities who visit us because they're traveling to Pune for work. But internationally, not much, not that much.
And that's usually the people who works in the DAFTA works as a virtual assistants and doing research, data entry for other countries in the US, Europe.
So we have all kind of people, right, from software developers to even architects to data entry people to marketing guys, everyone. Like it's a huge mix.
One question, sometimes like you're having such a power on like a lot of, doesn't people come to you, it's like, oh, can you recommend anyone? Do you know any data entry guy?
Sure, sure, they do.
Good.
I mean,
Please, guys, anyone asking anything, Vandita will be very
absolutely.
happy.
I think all my team, all of us in our team are very, very active on that part. We really, really, want to ensure that all the contacts that we have, we can leverage on them, and we can actually help our people to get connected. Sure.
Good. I think I don't know where is. We actually have a Shaurya who is obviously listening to the interview, who's going to help me to transcribe everything. He's doing an amazing work for us, and he's in India. I don't know exactly where, but it's for us. He's an amazing. He's a very important part of the Facebook Live interviews because if without him, we cannot be doing it. Or anything, which is good. It's good. Tell me, what's the roles of people in the DAFTA doing? I mean, do you have just what type of companies do you have at the DAFTA? Do you have mainly self-employed, or it's like 5 to 10 people?
So yes, right now we have mostly anywhere between 1 to 10 people companies, a lot of freelancers and a lot of employees for different companies working out of there. And I think max that we have right now is up to 40, 50 people company, which is like an offshore company, and the team is working out of our premise.
Good. Someone in here is asking me, which is the best growth hacking technique she have done? That's someone.
Okay. So I think for me, I think growth hacking, like I said in the beginning, it's more to do with, action, and then constantly reinventing, because what works for me might not work for you.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to know what's working and what's not as soon as possible. So you have to keep trying, doing the trial and error constantly, and hold on to the things that are working for you, and then keep trying with the new one, because the trends are changing so quick. Some days Facebook works, some days YouTube works. So you have to be like up to date with what the trends are. And I think most important is keep doing the trial and error. Keep knowing what is not working ASAP and discard it. Is how I think. And another important thing is that maybe something did not work for me right now. But if it's an interesting strategy, maybe I might want to hold on to that and try it another, maybe like 6 months later or something, because it might work then. I might have a different audience, or I might have grown. So I think it's very important to keep doing the trial and error constantly.
Good. And I think this is very important. One of the best growth hacking techniques would be to have an amazing product. In your case, I guess you have an amazing building with all the things that you need.
100%.
How do you brought your first 10 people to the building?
Interesting. So I think for us, when we started off, we did a lot of inserts, newspaper inserts, though this is quite an outdated thing. But like I said, something might just work for you just out of nowhere. And we just thought that we should, because co-working was very new at that time. And we thought our market was more of those individuals who are probably working out of cafes and homes. So we did a lot of newspaper insert in these residential areas. So and that really worked for us. And second, that kind of we did as an add-on was events. So we did happy hours, and we screened some matches to have nearby people just come take a look. And our idea was just to ensure that people are coming and visiting the premise. It was not. I think sales should not be like what you should be striving for. What you should be striving for is, how can I make people come and get that experience? And because that's, they actually buying your product is the step 2. The step 1 that you have to achieve is, how can they come and experience it? So, yeah.
Vandita, I love what you're saying, because we are always we say one thing, it's like, do not be attached to results, and do not do hard sales. And we say always be living. Instead of ABC, ABL, always be living.
Right.
Because if you push someone to come to your product, it's like, yeah, I'm going to give you an amazing offer. They end up by not recommending, not happy, not sitting, and then probably leaving. And it's just like a waste of time. I don't know if it has happened. And for you, sales, do you have any sales guys? Do you have, how does it work?
Yes, of course. I think sales is a very, very important pillar to co-working, because you have to constantly have people, who are like going to the right companies, understanding what we are all about, and then, attaching our product to the right companies who would be the, the right kind of customers for us. So I think sales is very important, and we definitely have like a sales team in place, right from people who are doing the market research to people who are actually doing the sales. And then, of course, every co-working space has to have a community manager who's kind of understanding and doing the post-sales activities to understand what the customer's needs, how we can kind of take care of everything. And
how big, if I can ask, how big is the team to run a 600 people co-working?
So right now our team size is 15 people. So I look into I look into design and events. I'm not into sales, but into sales I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people right now.
Okay, that sounds good. How often and how random are the events?
Oh my God, events, they're not, we really don't try to do random events really, unless and until somebody comes to us and says, hey, they just want the space, they just want us to be the space partners. Otherwise, we don't really do random events. We try to schedule them at least 2 weeks in advance, because we take that much time to kind of market it and make sure it's on all the platforms and everybody kind of knows about it. Because there are so many events happening in the city, so you just don't want to get lost, in the entire crowd, So.
Do you? I guess you meet up or Eventbrite and stuff like this.
Yes, so there are like just like Eventbrite, there are like a ton of platforms. We're currently using 7: Meetup, Eventbrite, and there are a couple of local platforms that we're using. And there are 2 very, very new platforms that have just kind of surfaced. We're using them as well. Yeah.
Good. For us in here, we do events once a month, and
Wow.
yeah, it is a challenge. It's actually good. It is a challenge for us, and it's just like every month. It's like the same as Facebook Live. We love it, and it's just a challenge to keep us every day. Like, come on, guys, in 1 month, and let's make sure we put a lot of time and effort to it. The same we do for the Facebook Live, and it helps us to. Okay, it's something in line with us, but we do something different, and it brings new energies, and it's super important. It's like waking up at 6. Okay, you don't feel it, but it's super good for you.
You're right.
Every day, every week we have a Facebook Live, and every month we have an event.
The event meetup.
Yeah, tell me how many people turns up to your events, and how difficult it is to bring people.
Oh, it's very difficult. I wouldn't lie.
Okay, good. I thought it was the only one.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, absolutely, you're not. It definitely is difficult, but I think so. Our audience range between 25 to anywhere up to like 100 people. We've done a couple of events which are like slightly large, which were hackathons and stuff like that. But I think what we've realized in the past is. And we've started making those changes is that you sometimes need to be very, very particular about choosing the topic and the speaker, and of course having like a right kind of marketing strategy in place, and on face that hey, it's just an event. I have to invite a speaker and a couple of people, and it'll be done. But it's not that easy, I believe. So you need to have a lot of advanced preparations. You wanna ensure that you are actually achieving the outcome that you want. You have to decide that in advance. Like, why am I doing this event? So for example, for our new space, we want people to come and see the space. So that's that's really the output that we're trying to achieve. So I think that kind of helps if you have that clarity. You know how you want to set the stage up.
Good. I like it, and we don't ask why. It's actually a good question. Why are we doing this event? But I guess it's on the core. We do next month. We have someone who's very good at doing Facebook ads and all that, and it actually works very well with Findthatlead, which we help people to find emails. And this person is kind of like outbound, inbound together works better, and that's why we have it. And yes, we have. I don't know if you had the experience of bringing someone amazing, and in the just last minute calling, it's like, sorry, I cannot come. Did you have this experience?
Yes.
You've
had that experience.
Weeks ago. And how did you solve that problem?
So yes, so I think it is what it is. I just would want to believe that the person is not bluffing and is not doing that in purpose, and he or she.
He's just yeah. It happened to me. It happened to me. I was like, what?
Well, even if that would happen to me, I would still want to believe that it was not done. Because that just kind of helps me build the right kind of strategy in terms of how to, handle the people who've already turned up for the event. Because sometimes even the team kind of gets a little overwhelmed. That hey, there are so many people, and what do we do now? And it's just so embarrassing. But then if you just go with the mindset that hey, that person really had a genuine problem, then you just know you can address it. So I think that's the way I go about it.
Good. Yeah, it happened to us a few weeks ago, and it's okay. Sorry. It's okay. We did the presentation. It was good fun. And one just for me, I was just thinking, how much is the average space for a co-working in India? Whatever you can share. How is it? How much is the average seat per space in a co-working in India?
So in India, it's anywhere between I would say 35 square feet to anywhere between 35 to 60 square feet is what people do. Yeah.
And is it like, is it $20 a month or $100 a month?
Oh, anywhere about $100 a month, $100
$20 or $100.
No, $100 a month.
It's a minimum average space
Yes,
per
it's
person.
a minimum. Yes.
It's also because we think in Spain, it depends. Some areas is 200, 300. It also depends what's the difference. There are some areas which is super cheap, some areas is super expensive, isn't it?
Right.
That's how it works, isn't it?
It's the same here as well, but I think the minimum that anybody would go is about $100. Is
Okay.
how I've
And
seen
then you get everything, the table, the space,
everything.
like an office type of
tea, coffee, everything. Stationery, meeting rooms, Skype rooms, everything.
I think we can show you. Yeah, let me show you. This is a co-working space, but we are
Nice.
but this is we are very noisy and we just got the whole floor. And that's a little bit messy. Because we're always shouting and we got all the floor. It's 3 or 4 floors. We just got the whole floor and it's easier because we communicate better. Okay, and tell me, what's the idea of expansion in the future for you, and what is the next country we are going
I really want to start a co-working space in Barcelona.
Yes,
so if you help me do that, I would love to do that.
Yes. Please go and conquer Barcelona. It's very difficult. We are in a co-working called Big Combinator, and they're amazing. They build the building and everything, and it's like they're having a little bit of a struggling to grow because it's difficult to bring people, and you spend a fortune building the building, and it's a SaaS. SaaS is kind of like you don't spend so much in the beginning, but if you're in a co-working, it does make a hard anything. It's real, and for you,
and it takes some time. I think every co-working space kind of needs its own cooling time to, get the right kind of people. Sometimes you have to compromise in that. Sometimes it's just you're really lucky to get like a bunch of people starting off. But when you grow, when you take up larger spaces, obviously you don't want to take the wrong people in the beginning because it's very difficult to set up the community then. So yes, it does take almost, I think, not just in Spain, but anywhere in the world, I think it takes some time to kind of build up the space. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's good. I don't know how many hundreds of co-working spaces are in Barcelona. Is it if it's so crowded in Pune?
Oh my God, you have to come to India, not just Pune. The entire country is very crowded now because co-working is new. It's an interesting concept. And it's a great business proposal, So like people who own real estate, they really want to jump into it and have their share of the pie. And I mean, it's very glamorous, It's startups. You like with the right kind of people. So it's super crowded.
Now that you say startup, what are the scene or what are you seeing for startups? What's happening and how are they growing? And if you have any case or any samples that you can share with me, how are they doing? Some startups that and what's going on?
I think startup culture in general in India is really doing very well. The government has come forward supporting in different ways. In general, the ecosystem has really, become a lot more mature than when I started off. And in our space precisely, I think case studies have been where people have actually come together and formed companies, or they found their CEOs or the CTOs in our company. I mean, in the same premise. And that's kind of really worked wonderfully, and I think that's one of the really interesting factors of a co-working space. You find team players, you find co-founders, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think communities. I mean, Findthatlead was built it wasn't just a co-working space; it was an acceleration. But we met with my partner in a co-working in a community because if not, it's impossible. Yeah, it is. It's the way to grow a company. Now we've been going 5 years and we have a stable growing business, which we're happy to share. But it's a lot of work for everyone, just to let you know, guys. And you have to put but it's good. It's good. And what's the next steps then? Which is the next country you're going to conquer, or what's the next area you're thinking?
Honestly, I really want to be in India for some time because Indian market is growing. And I think if we can, really be in a certain domain, if we can really be there and help startups and the freelancers here, I think it's going to be brilliant. But like I said, I'm definitely going to come to Spain. I love that country.
You're most welcome. You're invited to our office to work from our office and speak to the co-working guys, which I'm very happy to share with you. And they can tell you, don't do it, don't come to Spain. But I'm very sure you will be very happy to.
Okay, so, but yeah, I don't really have any other countries other than India as of now. But India, definitely, we're looking at expanding to other cities. Sure.
Oh, congratulations. Can you please share two things, a life hack and a book that actually changed your life?
Okay, book, that's an easy part. It's The Secret.
Okay, good. It's actually funny that I was rewatching the video 2 days ago. Seriously.
Oh, wow. Okay. But I think you should read the book, which is called The Secret Power. It's written beautifully, and it's always there by my side somewhere or the other. I know that whenever I'm feeling low or if I'm feeling things are not going right, I'll just grab it, read a couple of pages, and I'm back on my, in my state of mind. And I'm sorry, what was the other question?
Life hack.
Oh my God, life hack is, I think, it's just mind your own self. Think about your own happiness, because if you're happy, you'll be able to keep others happy. So do something if you like to do it. I mean, of course, I can do something for you till the time it's not really bothering me. But then don't do something if you don't really like doing it or if you're not happy about it. So I think that's my life hack. Like, really, think about your own happiness.
I love it, Vandita. I never do anything that is just boring or I don't like. If I don't feel doing it, fuck it. I don't do it.
Yeah,
I can tell you that. Good. I love your life hack, and it's really of love. And also the Secret of Power. I'm very sure it's going to be in YouTube, which we will share the link, all the ebooks and all that, which is good. But Vandita, it's been a pleasure to have you here.
Same here. Thank you so much.
To Barcelona, welcome. And remember, everyone, please send emails with love, and please do not hang up.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Vandita.
Bye.
1 second, please.